Okay, welcome everybody. So in this live stream right here, I want to point out something that's going on right now that I think we certainly need to pay attention to. And I just want to take note of this and just bring it to your attention because something happened recently and I fear that our raise to benefits is in jeopardy, like serious jeopardy right now based on what's happening. And we're in a very important time of year right now as it relates to the raise to our monthly benefit, right? Obviously, we are in the third quarter as we speak right here and as I host this live stream. So therefore, our raise to benefits is literally being predicated on what is happening right now with the most important inflation data that's coming out, okay? So anyway, let me just preface this video by quickly telling you what happened just the other day and why I'm very concerned about this, because this is not like something that's very normal at all. But realistically, has anything this year been even remotely normal? I think we can all probably agree, not at all, right? Anyway, okay, so let me just kind of recap here just quickly. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but I kind of want to lay the groundwork so we can all kind of understand what happened here. And then I'm going to share with you my concerns about this and why I feel like I'm not feeling so great about what's about to happen here. Okay, let's just recap on this and just kind of discuss what's going on here. Okay, so last week, we got a very important economic data point on Friday, okay? It was the jobs number. Again, you heard me talk about this the other day. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about it. But anyway, basically the job number came out and they showed that last month, in the month of July, so here I am right now, August, what is today? August 6th, Wednesday, August 6th right now as I host this live stream. In case you're watching the replay, you know when this was being hosted, okay? Anyway, so last Friday we got the job report number. It came in showing that they created 73,000 jobs last month in the month of July, right? Not a big deal. It was a little bit lower than what they expected, whatever. We already know that. But here's the big problem. The revisions for May and June came in as well, and those were revised down collectively 258,000 jobs for those 2 months. In other words, they miscounted by 258,000 and they revised the numbers lower significantly. In fact, they revised May down by 133,000 to 19,000 from 144,000 is what it was, and they revised it down to just 19,000. And then for the month of June, they revised it from 147,000. They revised it down by 133,000 down to just 14,000 jobs. Actually, you know what? I think I said that backwards there. For the month of May, they revised it down to 125,000. I apologize. Anyway, long story short, between the 2 months, they revised them down 258,000 jobs. Okay, they miscounted by that many. Now, again, I covered this just the other day in a separate video. That's not really the point behind all this, but rather the actions that came after that announcement is what's concerning me. Here's what happened. Shortly after this announcement came out, by the way, this data is released every month by the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, okay? Anyway, that's the reporting agency, essentially. Well, what happened is shortly after these numbers came out, the president came out and was pretty upset, right? These numbers are false. These are fabricated numbers. These are not right, blah, blah, whatever. Again, this is not a political video. I'm just giving you facts. Anyway, here's what happened. He fired the commissioner of the BLS, okay? So the president came in, was pretty upset by these numbers, and basically blamed it on the commissioner of the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, and fired him. You're out of here. You're fired. You're out of here. Why? Well, the data came in bad, so obviously that's the BLS commissioner's fault, right? No, it's literally the data coming in, but the president got rid of him anyway. Now, here's why I'm concerned about this. This is the data that they're telling us. Whether it's accurate or not, who knows, right? But based on what they say, we have to take it at face value and anticipate that it is actually real and they're not fabricated numbers, right? This is the real deal. This is what they're telling us. Well, here's the other part that I'm concerned about. The BLS also releases the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, or the inflation data as well, right? Well, guess what? They determine or guess what data they use to determine our monthly raise, as in the COLA for our monthly benefits. Yeah, they use the inflation data, the CPIW, which is just a subset of the inflation data, the headline, Consumer Price Index data. So they use that inflation data released by BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, to determine, inflation, and then we use that data to actually calculate the raise to our benefit. Now, here's what I'm concerned about going forward. The president showed his disapproval, his his disappointment with the labor numbers from last week. Now, in just a few days here, we have the next inflation data point coming out for the month of July. Data point number 1 out of 3 that we need to help determine what the COLA will be for next year. Okay, so in just a few days from now, we will be getting that all-important inflation data point. 1 of 3. Remember, we only get 3 of these. We get them every single month, but these are the 3 that really count. I fear that going forward, based on the disappointment out of the president from last week firing the commissioner of BLS, that these numbers are going to be manipulated massively going forward. Why? Well, just what we saw last week. The employment data was so bad that I anticipate these numbers are going to be influenced, they're going to be fabricated, and they're probably going to be manipulated going forward. Therefore, what do they want to see? What do they really want to see? They want to see strong job numbers, and they want to see lowering inflation numbers, right? They don't want to see, as in the president, the administration, again, they do not want to see these increasing inflation data points, because that shows exactly what everyone's been talking about for months and months, me included, is that we will see price increases because of the tariffs. And they keep coming back and saying, oh no, there's not going to be price increases because of the tariffs. It's not going to flow back to the consumer. And we say, yes, it will. That's exactly where it's going to go. And that's who's going to eat all of this, and who's going to pay for it at the end of the day is you and me and everybody else out there, all of us consumers. We are going to pay for these tariffs in the form of higher prices, inflation. We're the ones that are going to pay for this eventually, right? We know this. It's not a shock. Everybody knows this. But my concern is going forward, and considering what we just saw the other day, is that these numbers are going to be massively fabricated, manipulated going forward to show that, hey, look, guys, look, inflation is really not happening. Inflation is not there. Look at it. It's actually going down. Look at the data. Wow. Look how much this inflation is going down. The numbers are so good. Meanwhile, we all know better than that to say, no, nada. Look at the prices at the stores. Look at everything. Prices are actually rising, and that's exactly what we've anticipated. Now, we can also anticipate going forward as well. I would bet, and based on what we're seeing here, based out of these actions and remarks from last week, is that probably the labor data will likely be manipulated higher as well going forward, right? And again, kind of playing exactly into the hand of the firing of the BLS commissioner last week. Does all this kind of make sense? And again, who knows? Maybe I'm just being a total nut job and some conspiracy theorist about this whole thing, but it seems a little suspicious to me. I'm just saying, okay? So my major concern about this is that we're literally right here, right now, in the center of the time frame that is most vitally important to determine how much of a raise we're going to be getting to our monthly benefits. Again, today, Wednesday, August 6th, right here, right now, as I host this live stream, okay? So we're practically in the middle of the third quarter. I mean, okay, next week, like right around, I don't know, the 15th-ish of August. So okay, I guess we're off by about a week. But next week, we will literally be in the middle of the third quarter. July, obviously, is beyond us, right? So next week, we'll be getting the inflation data to determine what July's inflation is. Part of me is feeling like that number, I don't know, something's telling me that that number is going to come in nice and low and make it look like, look, guys, the policies are working. These tariffs aren't flowing back to the consumer. Yeah, right. We already know that. So that's the part that I'm most concerned about, is that we've seen inflation. We've seen the inflation data ticking higher. We've seen it trending higher the last several months here, which ultimately translates into a higher raise for beneficiaries, because we all know the higher the inflation data points that come in, the higher the COLA is, because they use July, August, and September data, inflation data, to determine how much of a COLA we're going to get. They take that third quarter data, they compare it over last year's third quarter data. The difference is the raise, as in the COLA, the following year. There's more of a calculation that goes into it than that, but that's just a very brief and easy explanation of it. Okay? So that's my concern about this. And who knows? Like I said a minute ago, maybe I'm thinking about this too much. Maybe I'm reading into this way too far. But I don't know. Something seems weird about that. Why would they fire the BLS commissioner after the jobs data comes out? That person has nothing to do with this data. It's all economically based, right? I mean, if we want to freak out on somebody, freak out on businesses. They're the ones not hiring people, right? It's their fault. It's not the commissioner's fault who leads the BLS. They're literally just reporting data, right? The data that's brought to them and that's reported to them, they're literally just reporting it, right? So the dude loses his job because the numbers came in bad. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm missing something here, but last I checked, it does not have anything to do with the person that runs the department, but rather it has to do with the overall health of the economy and whether businesses are willing to hire or not. That's literally all it is, right? So anyway, I feel like we're in kind of a precarious situation right now, and I fear that maybe inflation is going to be manipulated, and maybe if that happens, our COLA raise will also be jacked up pretty bad as well. Which, by the way, did you see that video that I had out this morning? Nuts. $258 more. By the way, watch that video if you haven't seen it yet, but I'll give you a super fast recap here. What I was talking about in that video is they want to raise the Medicare Part B premium for next year, 2026, by $21.50. That's going to cost us not only $21.50 a month, but $258 more for the entire year, just for the same old thing we have now, Medicare Part B. That's it, right? So they're going to charge all of us, not just a few of us, all of us, $258 more over the course of the entire year, $21.50 a month. Not only that, they're also talking about raising the Medicare deductible by, what is it, $31? Yeah, $31, or by about 12% to $288. Okay, so funny how that works. And we're maybe going to be lucky to get like a 3.25%, 3.5% COLA if we're super lucky, if these numbers are not manipulated, which I kind of anticipate that they're going to be. Anyway, that's my concern. And again, only time will tell next week on, what's the date? What is it? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. I think Tuesday's the 12th, right? Tuesday of next week, we will get July's inflation data. So let's just see what happens here. But that's my concern going forward here. And I just want to bring this to your attention really quickly in this live stream and just point it out, because that's not normal. Presidents typically don't file the acting commissioner of BLS just because of bad jobs data. That's not really how it works, right? So anyway, just want to point this out really quickly. And again, if you are turning 65, if you're retiring, or if you're one of the 70 million people currently on Medicare, call them. Seriously, that phone number right there, they're waiting on standby to help you. They have access to over 20,000 plans. They will shop all those plans, find you the best plans in your local area for what you personally need, and they'll present your options. And again, they'll do that 100% free for you. Give them a call. By the way, I made a community post featuring a comment that I just received from Miriam McGee. She's saving $1,200. She called them, that phone number, she called them, short phone call, $1,200 of savings from just a short phone call from them because she got a better plan. That's incredible. It's $100 a month just by making a quick phone call. Not sure about you, but that seems like a really good return on your time. So anyway, after you talk to them, leave a comment down below. Use the word chapter within your comment, and I'd love to feature you just like Miriam McGee in a future video. Otherwise, I'll be giving shout outs to people just about every day in videos. Anyway, hope this helps you. I'll keep you posted. I got Corey here to help me with this. All right, anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to hear from you soon. Leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you feel about this.